one of my first and most amazing mission experiences was in my first city in Charleroi. And the city was kind of a depressed city. There was a very high rate of people who didn't have jobs, and people just seemed really depressed. But one Sunday, my trainer and I were walking, and we saw this church, and we saw all these families going into this church, and we thought, all these families going to church, families don't come to our church, you know, not that many families come to our church. So we just thought, okay, next week we're going to go check out this church. And we like to do that a lot, visit different churches and meet different people that way. And so the next Sunday we were so excited, we'd all planned for it, and we walked into the church, and we noticed that all the women had kind of like headbands on or scarves, and I had no idea what that meant. And we all just kind of sat down, and it seemed like the men were all on one side and the women were all on one side. And we're like, okay, we'll sit by the women definitely. And we kind of noticed, we're like, I was so new that I didn't understand French that well, so they could have been speaking Swahili and I would have thought it was French. But my companion's like, they're not speaking French. I don't know what language this is. Is it Italian? And so we were so confused, and a woman actually approached us and said, oh, I met girls like you before. They used to come visit me. They were so sweet. And she sat by me, and my companion was on the other side, and they kept speaking this language, and we finally realized, oh my goodness, it's Romanian. These are all Romanians, and this is like their special, you know, Sunday church. And we thought, that's so cool. And the woman kept sitting by us. She's like, I'll translate. And even the pastor at the front, he's like, we're so welcome. We're sorry we can't translate in French or English, but we're glad you're here. And I thought that was so nice. It was a pretty big congregation, and they had such a wonderful spirit about them. And the woman kept translating to me in French, and I had no idea what she was saying. And so she'd translate, the pastor would speak, or a different member would speak, and she'd translate in my ear, and my companion would be like, hey, what'd she say? And I'd be like, I heard the word faith and healing, and that's all I would get. And towards the end, they had lots of musical numbers, and towards the end, the pastor actually looked at us and said, would you guys like to sing? And we thought, what? No, we can't sing at your church. Like, we felt so bad. We didn't want to feel like we were taking over, but I thought, my companion's like, let's go sing. And so we pulled out our hymnals, our cantiques, as we call them, and we're like, let's sing How Great Thou Art. And I thought, okay, like, let's sing How Great Thou Art. And we started singing it, and apparently it's a very popular tune and a very popular hymn in Romanian. And so the band started to join us, and we were singing, and like they pulled up microphones, and like everybody started joining and singing us with How Great Thou Art. And like, even thinking about it now, it just gives me chills, because it was such an amazing experience. Like, all these people singing, you know, the song about Christ, like different languages, like they were singing in Romanian, we were singing in French. I was kind of understanding French, and it was just such an amazing experience. And hopefully, you know, one day missionaries will knock on their door, and they'll remember these two American sisters who sang How Great Thou Art in their church.